Katja Larsson was born in Sweden, came to study art in Glasgow, and through a master's at the Slade School made her way to London, which is home for her now, just as the Thameside studios are her work home. What made Katja Larsson a great fit for Aicon Contemporary's programming was Larsson's intense interest in the environment. In her first ever showing in the United States, Katja Larsson exhibited her work in the focus section of the Armory Show 2020 with Aicon Contemporary. The section was curated by Jamila James of the ICA Los Angeles. Larsson's work stood out in this huge fair and made its way into the Armory's own record of the highlights of the year. In Homer's poem The Odyssey, Athena takes the shape of humans and animals alike to secure the outcomes of her own agendas. In our modern world, Athena is a tire, an exhaust pipe, a Harley-Davidson suspension kit, and Hermes now roams the earth as the winged foot of Goodyear. Pegasus soars high in the sky as a red neon sign for Mobil Oil. What does it mean when mythological symbols are appropriated in such a way? Is their meaning diluted? Or do the ancient gods in fact continue to live as their names are invoked again and again? It has been argued that the closest a god will come to death is when their name stops being uttered. So maybe they're biding their time in our present day as logotypes and as manufactured goods. Is Athena as gasket, Zeus as brake caliper, here to protect us on our motorways, to keep us safe on our journeys, much like the ancient times? Or have they simply settled for what's available for now, waiting for a renaissance? Dr. Nina Perlman is the manager of art collections for the University College London. She has a PhD in cultural studies. In the past, she has worked as a freelance consultant, a writer, and a curator. Dr. Perlman has known Katja Larsson and followed Katja's work for a long time.
Katja Larsson's sculptures explore the presence of classical forms in everyday life. And like others before her, she co-opts the radical qualities of these forms and redeploys them as critical devices to help us make sense of our world. Her sculptures and installations carve out a space in the trajectory between restored, fragmented archaeological artifacts, often copies whose origins are unknown, and the singular original objects we encounter in the museum. These are not figurative sculptures of gods or mythological characters. We are presented with casts of vehicle parts like tires. These, however, are embossed with global brand names such as Athena, Hercules, or Achilles. Whether coherent in form or fragmented, cast tires placed one atop the other to form a column or singular on the floor or wall. These sculptures employ the language of archaeology and museological practices, yet their titles remain synonymous with the brands. They are thus presented to us as genealogies of knowledge, critical devices that serve to unpack our everyday experiences. Arguably, only when Larsson's sculptures are co-present with us in space and time do their innate Baroque qualities emerge. They are, after all, performers. They animate and they are humorous, and they don't always make sense. Their branded qualities remind us that even the celebrated sculptor Bernini himself became a brand, his name synonymous with the style. And in pinpointing this link, the sculptures, however elusively, like jesters, seek to whisper in our ears about authenticity and influence.
Shortly after the Armory show, Katja Larsson's work was in an exhibition, Shapeshifters, at the Kunstmuseum at Malmö in Sweden, which is still running. Curated by Anna Johansson, this show includes such iconic artists as Eliafur Eliasson and Cindy Sherman. Very honorable company indeed for the young Katja Larsson, who is clearly going far.